into learning disability nursing purely by chance, really, because I applied to do some volunteering for MenCap, kind of forgot that I applied, and then I was invited to come and do some campaigns, champion training, which was just before the launch of the Treat Me Well campaign. So in the September time, which was pretty much around the time I was finalising my application for uni for originally children's nursing, the trainer mentioned that learning disability nurses are at the forefront of making healthcare better for people with learning disabilities. And in that moment, I remember sitting there thinking, oh my God, that's what I need to go and do. Like, it just makes so much sense. That just fits with what I've sort of grown up around and where I could see myself in the future. And that led me to being here today. One of my favourite and most treasured memories from the duration of my course, I think I was probably about 3 weeks into my first placement, and I was helping an older lady on a dementia rehabilitation ward with personal care. And I'd seen another one of the HCAs do this thing where you put get a little basin, fill it with warm water and a little bit of soap, and you let the patient, you fill one up and let the patient put their feet in it and then get another one to wash them. And I did this for this patient, and she just looked at me after she was dry, dressed, having a cup of tea. She was like, "Thank you so much for doing that." And I was just like, "For doing what?" It's just like, this is just like, I've got the time to put the effort in, so why wouldn't I? And she was just so gracious and grateful about it, and I was just like, but I'm not here to be thanked for this. I'm just doing something that I would want someone to do for myself, or my grandparent, or my mum, or anyone that I care about if they were in a similar situation. And seeing how someone appreciated that, even though I didn't think it was that big of a deal, it just meant, it showed me that I was in the right place, I was doing the right thing. The hardest thing about being a student learning disability nurse is constantly having to deal with people saying, "But you're not a real nurse." We are real nurses. We do a degree, we do a Bachelor's of Science, just like everyone else. We have to do all the competencies and placement hours. And just because we've got learning disability after the RN part of our qualification doesn't mean we're any less of a nurse than adult, child, or mental health. That's the most annoying thing, and that is the hardest thing to cope with, because especially as a first year, you get that a lot. Don't give up. We need as many learning disability registered nurses out there as we can, and things are going to be tough, and there are going to be moments where you are sitting on the bus coming home from placement, crying your eyeballs out, trying to get on the phone to someone you care about so you can talk to them. And there will be moments where you just feel so supported by the team you're working with and so encouraged by them, and it's that sort of balance that makes all of the hard moments really, really worth it. Just don't give up. Don't let the bad moments get to you. This is a bit of a niche one, I think more targeted to mental health and learning disability field students. Don't get too worked up about the fact that you're in a placement area that's not overly clinical. If you're in a community-based placement where you're doing sort of more referrals and paperwork and that sort of thing, just because it's not in a clinical setting doesn't mean you're not going to learn anything from it. And don't lose sight of what everyone else expects nursing to be, because your fields are really niche and really unique, and they aren't necessarily always going to be based in hospitals or wards or anything like that. So don't lose sight of what outside perspectives of nursing are just because you're in a non-clinical placement area. Homemade instant noodles. So it's rice noodles, stock cube, a little bit of miso paste, and whatever veggies I've got in the freezer. Just chuck that in, and then when I get to placement, just put hot water in it and it's done. I wish people would ask me why I got into it more. just because that's not something a lot of people actually ask, which is strange because they tend to ask it of everyone else in the other fields.